Welcome to a demonstration of the below market lease transition model. This model should be used only by not-for-profit entities in Australia who have below market leases. The most common of these are peppercorn leases, but it does cover all leases in which the payment is below what a normal market amount would be. The first thing you should do is to read the user guide and listen to this video. But from then on, the main input tabs are the blue tabs. So starting with the time series tab. This has been preset for a June year end, transitioning in 2020. So 30 June 2020 is the mandatory application date of the new AASB 1058 and AASB 16 requirements for below market leases. If you have a December year end, then it will be December 2019. The last lease end date, so this section here is when the longest lease you have expires. You'll see that the inputs are actually less than an at-market lease calculation if you have dealt with an at-market lease, and that is because the requirements are slightly different. So once you input those four items into the time series tab, you can then go to the lease assumption tab. And once again, the requirements are less than an at-market lease, but not necessarily less onerous. There are two transitional options. And the first of these is retrospectively, as if the standard always applied. And the second is prospectively. But retrospectively, as if the standard always applied, is slightly different in its application than at-market leases. And that is because the right of use asset is determined to be the fair value of effectively the discount. And so if you apply it retrospectively, then you need to calculate the fair value of that benefit at the start of your comparative year. If you choose option 2, which is to do it prospectively, then that is calculated as being the fair value of the right of use asset at the start of your actual year. So there's really just 1 year difference. So if you're transitioning 30 June 2020, if you choose option 1, you'll work out the fair value of your right of use asset on the 1st of July 2018. If you choose option 2, you'll calculate the fair value of your right of use asset on the 1st of July 2019. So the inputs are pretty straightforward. You put in the lease name. We'll come back to the options. You can choose them last. Put in the start date of your lease. What is the term of your lease? What rent are you actually paying? So the market reduced rent is your actual payments that you're making. And probably the hardest variable you're going to have to find is to find out or impute what the market payment would be. So these are monthly payments. So if you didn't get a below market lease and you had to go and pay fair market value for that, what would be the monthly payments? Do you have any increases and when do they occur? And the second significant variable that you have to find is an incremental borrowing rate for the organisation. If the organisation has borrowed recently, you'll be able to observe what that rate was. If not, then you might need to look at some industry sectors or general sectors for an entity similar to the one that you're dealing with. You can then also put in any option periods. So it might be a 60-month lease with an option to extend for another 60 months. You only insert the months here if you're reasonably certain of taking up that extension period. And so there's not many variables to input, but obviously there's some significant work that needs to be done in finding a couple of those variables. Once you've done that, then the next tab I advise you going to is to go across here to the option analysis tab. And what the option analysis tab does here is to show you what the entries will look like under the existing standard, AASB 117, what it'll look like under option 1, what it will look like under option 2. And it will also tell you the journal entries. So significantly here, option 1, if you choose that, the journal entries occur on the 1st of July 18. If you choose option 2, those journal entries don't occur for a year later. So it shows you the journal entries, and it shows you by lease, lease 1, lease 2, and it also shows you at the end of the period what the financial statement impact is. So you'll see the dates there at the end of the year, 30 June 19 or 30 June 2020. So it will show you those differences. If you have a number of leases, so there's 2 input in this example, you might put in 10 or more if you buy the 50 lease model. You can go to the Consolidated Lease tab, or prior to going to the Consolidated Lease tab, sorry, you then need to go back and select whether you want option 1 or option 2. So based on that option analysis that showed you what the outcome would look like, you need to select an option. Now, if you choose option 1, it needs to be option 1 for all your leases. If you choose option 2, it's option 2 for all your leases. So once you've decided which options you want to select, then you can go to the Consolidated Leases tab. And because we've chosen option 1, the journal entry is 1st of July 18, and it shows you we've got 2 leases. It consolidates both of those, consolidates what the financial impact is. But as I said, if you had numerous leases, it would consolidate all of those. If you went back and decided that you wanted to choose option 2, I said you need to choose that for all your leases, you then go through and you'll see here that the journal entry is now changed, not only by the amount, but also the date that that journal entry will occur. So I hope that demonstration's made it easier for you to use this transition model, and all the best.